This is We Admit by ASAP, the podcast where we share true stories from admission and enrollment professionals. I'm your host, Janice Crampton, Executive Director and CEO. Join us today on this episode of We Admit as I have the opportunity to reconnect with Cierra Rickman, who's the Director of Admissions and Advancement at Midland School. I've had the pleasure of knowing Cierra Rickman since she was, Sierra Ensign, a first-year admission professional at Midland, and now I've watched and observed her move from that position all the way up through Director of Admission and Advancement. We'll talk a lot about who she is as a professional, now as a working mother, and we'll also talk about hopes and dreams for women in this profession that suffer a bit from imposter syndrome. Cierra, in so many ways, embodies everything this association and this profession does. So join us today on this episode of We Admit. Cierra, we're back. We're together.
We are. I'm so excited. And before June even.
Oh my gosh. So we have so much to catch up on. And, again, we'll do it through the wonders of a podcast. But Cierra Rickman, Director of Admissions and Advancement at the Midland School. Again, so much has changed over the years. You have gained so much. You have uber focused on many other things. It seems like life is good for you. Is that a fair capture or assessment?
Yes, life has been fantastic.
Okay, what is the number one reason why life is fantastic for you, Cierra?
Gosh, I had a beautiful baby girl last July, which is why I could not see you all at the annual institute. I was very sad about that, but happy to also be bringing a beautiful little girl into the world. And it has been wonderful to be her mom for the past 8 months now.
It's funny how, and I'm sure you not only understand this now as a mother, but also, you're still hearing it, but time flies. Like on one hand, right? On one hand, I can't believe it's only been 8 months. And then on the other hand, I can't believe, right, that it's all like in one.
Yes, absolutely. It's true what parents say that they finally go to sleep and then you spend time just looking at photos of them on your phone. And I look back to when she was born and I just can't believe how much growth has happened in only 8 months of life.
So speaking of growth, let's do the like memory lane check. So I've known you since you were Cierra Ensign.
Yes.
Right. And you just started, or you were beginning in this profession at Midland, because you've been with Midland for a good deal of time now, right?
10 years.
10 years. Oh my gosh. And then again, through the wonders of just your own professional growth and development and the work that you're doing, you've gotten very active and involved in the Western Boarding School Association, in your regional groups, and Small Boarding School Association, and ASAP Life as a cohort and a presenter, and one of sort of the many fan favorites. And then you got married, right? And then you became, again, Cierra Rickman, still the same person, but, right? And you have chickens and ducks and horses and babies. I mean, my gosh, truly, like, how do you manage all of this in the spirit of so much change and yet kind of that continuity?
The animal question comes up all the time from colleagues, both here at Midland and as I travel on the road. That is what brings me the most joy in life outside of my work in admissions. And it truly is not as much work, I think, as people think. So for any children listening, tell your parents they need to get you that dog because it's not that much work. But I think really it is just, it brings me joy. I've always been an animal person, and being able to have that thing that connects me to students who are also interested in a place like Midland, where animals are a large part of what we do here too. You can bring your dog to school with you. That has just been a really fun addition in my life as well.
So as I look back, through the wonders of LinkedIn, and I see your academic background and profile and the work that you've done, what is it that drew you either to this profession or to Midland, or which came first? I mean, again, where you are is obviously a result of where you were, but can you tell us a little bit about that, dare I call it, journey?
Yes. So in college, I focused in business administration, specifically in nonprofits, and I was working in the field of sexual assault education and prevention. Absolutely loved that field, really felt like I was making a difference in the world. And there was also a part of me that knew that it was a really heavy subject, and I didn't know if I would be able to do that as my long term career. I wanted to be closer to family again, and so I moved back here to the central coast of California. And of all places, I found this job at Midland on Craigslist. We no longer advertising. That's, I guess, what the world of independent school 10 years ago was. And I came to Midland and applied for a job as the advancement associate. On my first day on the job, they said, as a small school, guess what? You're also going to work in admissions. And I just loved admissions. And so a few months in, they moved me 100% to admissions. I started traveling, and I was just loving getting to know our families, getting to know students, and helping them find that right school for them, whether that was Midland or another one of the incredible schools that are out throughout the US and the world. Really just getting to know colleagues at other schools as well. So I worked under Amy Graham for 2 years. She's an incredible mentor of mine. And when she told me that she was moving on to Pomfret School in Connecticut, I was devastated that she was going to leave Midland. At that time, I had people pushing me to apply for the director of admission job. And I said, I'm just not ready for it. And I had that imposter syndrome in my head saying, you're not ready, you're too young, you can't do it, don't take the job. And so we had a wonderful human, Tim Weir, came in, and he was the director of